Hello, good evening, welcome. My name is Abinako. Welcome. I want to share with you today what I call uh, two things that you don't have to build your business with. Two things that you don't have to build your business with. One is bribery, and the other one is superstition. One is bribery, and the other one is superstition. The foundation that you start anything with will decide the success that you would see, and sometimes the timelines of that success. The teachers that you had growing up, the things that taught you, will shape these two things. They will shape your character and they will shape your belief system. And we grew up learning from people who came before us. We grew up hearing. We had a lot of teachers. Those who were present were those who were distant, and their thoughts affected the way we grew up. Now, if you start a business, you are only going to do what you've been taught, what you have seen around you. The unfortunate thing is that nature does not so much respond to what you saw growing up. Nature responds to the principles that work. And so, whether you knew them or you didn't know them, they are irrelevant. What you do is dependent on what you were taught. And if what you were taught, the things that you were taught, if they were wrong, they will show up in anything that you build. Whether it's your life, it's your business, it's your family, it's your career, everything that you're building, they will be affected by the things that you were taught. And so the fortunate thing is that at a point we start to ask ourselves, these things that they taught us, are they as they are? Or we were taught one side of it, and maybe the other side was not taught us. And so I share with you that these things you don't have to build your business with. If you're going to build a business, it is very consuming. It takes a lot of energy, a lot of your time. It takes everything that you are. And so you don't want to build that thing you call business, and later part of your life, you saw that the very things that you used to build that business will not hold that business when there is a hit, when there is a challenge. And sometimes this part will keep you in perpetual delay and detour, and you may not even know it. And they go hand in hand. The quality of the things that you were taught. If you were taught commitment, if you were taught character, if you were taught systems and structures, if you are taught the ability to learn and keep learning, if that is what you grew up with, when you are building anything, you will not want to look at how do I cut corners to succeed, because those are the things that you were taught. You were taught them, you invite them, they are in you. So anything that you show up to do, you come with those things. Now, if you were not taught anything at all, or if you were taught the superstition, if you were taught that the normal way to do business is to cheat and lie and take bribe, which is a very tough situation for majority of us because of the kind of environment that we operate with, because of the culture that we operate with, because of a lot of things that we operate with. So most of us, when we think of building anything and succeeding, the only formula that we know is to go by what we've been seeing. We have seen what we were taught growing up, what we see around us. So the cheating, the lying, we compromise a lot of our values. That is, if we knew that there was even any importance of values in business. But at a point, you have to come to a stage where you have to know that if you're going to succeed with your business, these are things that you have to stay with and go through them. Now, they may take a lot of time. They may delay you. They may push you into a stage where you'll be laughed at. You take so much hate, so much pressure, so much distress. Those who take the other way, okay, those who take the cheating, the lying, those who compromise their values if they had any, those who so much believe in the superstition, the magic, the things that are beyond them. They call on the name of God. They do all those. And they think that they are the ones who are doing the right thing. They will seem to be succeeding, quicker and faster than you. But those are not sustainable. Those are not realistic. There are principles in building anything. In this life, there are principles, and those principles were set by the Creator. They were set by the Creator. So if you compromise or you overlook them and you think that you can just forgo all these principles and go to the Creator, because the people who usually believe in God think that God is their small boy. So God must do everything that is important to them, and usually their business is number one. So they pray to God. They say that God will give me contract, God will give me money, God will fight my enemies for me. Those things that we've been taught, and we think that those are the right things. I think after a while, they are deceptive. They are not sustainable. And the very people who have taught us these things are not people who did business. If you're going to go into business, look for people who have done these things practically, built businesses with credibility, with honesty, with character, with systems, with structures, built from the ground up, built themselves, went through the processes. Those kind of people, when you meet them, their philosophies are different from those who compromise their values, those who just jump, those who had a lot to start with, those who had grant, those who had free money, free access to some things. Those people, when they build businesses, it is different. And that's why sometimes after 5 years, after 20 years, those businesses are sent into a tragic moment and they never come up, again. Why? And people become hysterical, people become, confused, and they start to ask questions. But this man was Christian, this man was for God. How come his business came to this point? And, it's because there are principles for building anything. Okay, so you cannot use your superstition to compromise the very foundations that are required for any business to be done. So no one at least, no one is 100% in terms of the things that we have to learn. But you should know, and I should know, that these things are so much crucial if you are an entrepreneur and you want to build business. You are committed, you have committed your life into doing something. You must as well learn it rightly and do it and pay the price and go through the processes. No need to create facade. No need to let people see that you have arrived. Meanwhile, the foundations are not strong. It takes a while, especially if it's your first business, for you to build the right foundations, not only externally, but also in you as a person. The mindset, the skills, the emotional stability, the very critical things, the technical things that you need to have for you to stage any business, for it to work. It takes a lot of time, especially if you started with nothing. It takes a lot of time. And so if you are in haste and you want to succeed fast, and usually what people call success is just the monetary part of business, and they compromise. That's why the cheating comes in. That's where the lying comes in. That's where the superstition comes in. That's where they are looking for magic. They're looking for all these things to build business, because they don't understand that it takes a while for businesses to be built. Right? Businesses that can withstand the test of time, it takes a while for them to be built. So it's a proper understanding that you have to have if you're committed to building a business, because you don't want to build a business with your youthful years and latter part of your life. You saw that you didn't build anything rightly. You can see a story building going up, they want to go up like 10 story or 20-story building. If you compromise on the foundation, you know, if you compromise on the foundation, or if you didn't understand the right, the soil structure, the stability of the soil, the things that you needed to hold on for you to go to that 10-story or 20-story building that you were working on. And you just thought that, you go there, you pay the city supervisors, they come, they just write anything for you. Your engineer is saying you need this tonnage of iron rods. You say that, no, it doesn't matter. My pastor said that I can do this way. You cut a lot of corners. It's building that you're building. You cannot build with bribery, and you cannot build with superstition. You can build with engineering principles. The same with anything that is built. The same with business. You cannot build with all those things that they are, cutting corners, cheating, lying, going to see whoever to connect you somewhere. You have to do those. And you have to tell yourself that I am going to go through the processes to learn. Even if because usually you'll be introduced quickly, faster than you ever thought. The moment you say that you want to do business, people will come in and give you all kind of advice. You'll be shocked. People will give you all kind of leads. By the time you see it, if you didn't know, you'll be in the grip of people who just want to use you for their money. And that's where the bribery comes in. That's where the cheating comes in. Most people were good. They were good people at heart. They just wanted to do something with their lives. And by the time they see it, because the money was the drive, they were not taught that if you want to build a business, you need character, you need strategy, you need systems, you need discipline, you need skill, you need a lot of things. You need constant learning. It is a process. It takes time. You have to become another person for you to build a successful business. They were not taught. So once you jump into that area where people have money, they show you the cash, they tell you this is the contract, they tell you all the things that they can do, and you start to calculate in your mind, you can just become a millionaire in the next minute. Because if you're ready to sign those things, you'll be a rich man. And most people have built businesses like that. The capital that they started the business with, most people just started business with the capital or the connection or the idea that they started the business with came from connections, things like that. And then the next time you see them 2 years, they have big business everywhere. And people say, oh, he's a successful businessman. Not necessarily. A business must be built with character, must be built with principles. If you're going to spend your time building any business, focus on this. Don't be in haste trying to get money without a structure. It will collapse. It will collapse. So the bribery, the connection, they are rampant. It's everywhere. You have to be crazy not to go that line. You have to be mad. You have to be strong. You have to be courageous to say that I'm not going to do this. Because everywhere you turn, there'll be offers. Everywhere you turn, people will give you. And sometimes the structure is like that. It's so amazing. And you may not sometimes even see them as wrong. Because you may be caught up in a situation where that's the only thing that you have to do. Because the whole structure is like that. It's serious. And it's tough. Everywhere that you turn. The one who wants to give you the project is asking for something. The one who wants to pay you is asking for something. Government institutions are asking for something. Everybody is asking for something. How do you survive this kind of? Because the more compromised you are in these things, the more you are destroying the very foundation that you're building for the business. So, and if you're not tough and if you're not strong, the challenges will overwhelm you. You will give up and compromise. And the moment you compromise, the right nutrients that you need to build this business that you say you are building will not be there in the future. Will not be there in the future. So, if you cut the corners, if you steal, if you cheat, everybody will see you as somebody who is leading, who is successful. And we have a lot of them in our country, very successful businessmen. And they jumped a line. They jumped the queue. They didn't go through the process. They've not been processed. They've not been processed. You will compromise your wisdom if you go with these two. The cheating, the lying, you compromise it. Any industry that you choose, they are there. It's amazing. They are there. And when you started, you didn't know it. When I started something, I didn't know it. People just introduce it. It's like we go to secondary school, very green, very naive. and people introduce you to weed, smoking, introduce you to, boyfriend, girlfriend, those things. You were naive, you didn't know. Before you see it, you were there. And it becomes difficult for you to set yourself free. And so there are a lot of people who are very much, they have a lot of expertise in these things. But at least, if you are aware, you have the option to choose. And you know that the future of the business is highly or is solely dependent on the things that you're doing, which are right. Okay, so decide to say that I'm going to stay out of this kind of businesses. I'm going to build myself gradually. I want to learn the trade, because that's how you learn the trade. I want to learn the trade. Even if you started that way, you can still tell yourself that, listen, maybe before I didn't know, but now that I know, I want to do it the right way. I want to correct my errors. I want to correct the process. I want to go through it, learn how to build a business, and learn how to do it well. That's what I want to do. It's a decision. Nobody can take it for you. And when you make that decision, it's going to be very difficult, my friend. It's going to be dangerous. You will be delayed. You will be late because you are going to learn it. But it's a delay which is building you well. If there is any delay at all, you will know every bit of the business that you're doing. And that's just what's going to bring the success. Now, the other thing is the superstition. It's everywhere. When you're talking to people, when they mention the name of God, they think that God is a magician. So when people have even done some things with the right principles that God set in place, they still want to say that this is God who did it for me. I understand that part, but I understand also that God set principles. And so if I use his principles, it is the same God who has done it. And it doesn't sound more superstitious, because people want to tell you that they are religious only when they are waiting for something from God. But when you want something from them, their character is broken. And it goes hand in hand. The people who are very much superstitious and will say and according a lot of things to God, they are the same people who are so much, who are the ones cutting corners everywhere. The same people who are cutting. Because the very principles of God will be principles of justice, of honesty, of kindness, of forgiveness, of excellence, of wisdom, of faith, of love. Those are the principles of God. Those are actually God. Those things, if you see people exhibiting those things, they're exhibiting the nature of God. So why do people say that? Somebody told me that this contract I will win, but the same person is going to offer some money somewhere. I don't get it. Because we think that that is the only way to do business. It's not like that. If you profess to say that you are a Christian, you should be saying in the things that you stand for. The very things that you stand for should represent who God is. And that will make sure that you will not compromise the processes. And that will bring the victory, because then you are on the side of the right principles to build a business. Because let's face it, if you stop the lying, if you stop the cheating, if you stop the behind deals, you have no other option if you want to stay in that business than to go through the right principles, the right processes, the right procedures. And when you're going through that, you are building up, you're becoming strong. You're building up with knowledge, you're building up with understanding, you're building up with wisdom. Those are the things that are responsible for success. Not so much the superstition of God, but the knowledge built up, the wisdom, the understanding, your ability to build it, to understand this business, to understand the business environment, your ability to lead people, to see who qualifies to be part of this business. Those things are really responsible for growth and for expansion. And that's how even the human nature is built. If a child is growing, the right food that is given to that child will build the body. If that child is sent to another place where wrong food is given to that child will have kwashiorkor. Even though that child is made in the image of God. because they are principles. You can't say that, oh, just pray for the child will grow. If you don't feed that child well, that child will be sickly. That child will grow up malnourished. The same with your business. You say that God gave you that business, but if you don't feed it well, and these are the principles, the principles are the feed, the food, the nutrients, the things that the foundations that the business is built on. And it's not only like external, it's also the one that you who are doing the business, the ones that you're also standing for, the ones that you're training with, the ones that you're developing with. These two, you must make the decision. You make the decision to say that these are the things that I stand for. Because people believe in superstition when they feel that everything else is beyond them. So they want another force to control the situation in their favor. But the business should not be. It should not be an external force. There are just straight things. Do you understand your accounting? Do you have a bookkeeping procedures? Do you write the finances that are going out? Do you know your margins? The things that you're doing, do you understand them well? Do you understand the industry? Have you studied it? Do you understand the general business environment? Who do you know in this kind of business? When you started last year, and now that you are in your second year, what have you known? What have you become? What technical skills do you think you have acquired by doing this business? How much knowledge have you acquired? How many books have you read on this? A lot of us will not do that. Many people will not do that. But they will jump from one prayer camp to the other, one prophecy to the other. They're looking for a prophet to give them a word so that their business will explode. How many people have you seen build strong businesses, successful businesses from Africa after going through all these people? Because they are a waste of time. They don't help anybody. But it's difficult, especially those who go to church, for them to accept that what you're saying it makes sense. But I tell you, if you're going to build businesses, there will be a lot of opportunity for you, for all these guys to come. They will profess to tell you that they have the power to make your business work. Every year that you stay with that kind of thought and those kind of people is a waste of time. It's a waste of time. So if you think that you're going to follow those people to build your business, I can say after 20 years, after 30 years, you will look back and you have nothing to show. And those who focus on building with wisdom, with understanding, with knowledge, practicing, training, going to get the right knowledge, training in the sales, training in the finances, training in the product development. Those who state that, those who look for the right people to build the business with, those who focus on character, building themselves, being honest. If they say it's yes, no is no, green is green. Those who focus on that are the ones who are on the side of success. The other ones who are waiting for magic, prayer, fasting, casting demons. Because for most people, when the business is not working, it is a demon. Their grandfather somewhere, their grandmother somewhere is responsible. They don't want them to succeed. They even tell some people they have put some holes in your hands. So when money comes there, it drops. This man has never written any money that he has ever spent. He has no understanding of what principles are in terms of finances. And yet he's been able to, some people have been able to convince him that the money that comes to him, there are holes in his hands. And so when they put money in, it will drop. That is superstition. So he's going to the malam to look for money. How many billionaires around the world have you heard? They go to the malam for money. Success is principles. Business is principles. They are not through cheating and bribery. They are not through superstition. But if you're an African, it's going to be difficult for you to accept this. Most people who readily accept this are people who were not brought up religiously. Most people who are able to say that, yes, this is the way, are people who are not brought up in religion. Those of us who were brought up in religion had to waste a lot of years finding out what it takes to do these things rightly, with brains, with knowledge, with understanding, technical skills. Because majority of us, if we meet any challenge in any business, it is the devil. It is the devil. If we meet any difficulty, it's the devil. If there's any situation, it is the devil. Because that is what they have told us. And we have believed it. Now, don't forget, most of these guys who are telling you it is the devil in building business when you meet difficulties, most of them have never built businesses from nothing. Most of them never tried. Even if they have businesses now, the capital was not coming from their ingenuity. The capital never came from the fact that they started nothing. Most of them, after they had had some grant or something somewhere, now they have excess money. They put some people together and they push it somewhere and they say that they have started businesses. Majority of them, you and I may not never fall in that kind of category. We may have to just, you are coming from somewhere, nobody knows you, you have nobody to help you, your mother can't help you, your father can't help you, no one can anywhere, and you say that you have a business idea, you want to develop it. If you follow those people who are giving you all these situations, because when you have a difficulty, that's the obvious answer. Why? Because they never did it. They have never gone through the processes. So you are crying, you are weeping, God help me. The principles are there. The principles are there. It takes a lot of courage to say that I'm going to go through this. I'm going to build it one step after the other. I'm going to be honest with everybody who deals with me. I'm going to stay with the process. I'm going to build my systems, my structures. I'm going to work with character. If anybody sends me anywhere and they want me to deliver, I'm going to deliver on time. Those things are the ones that are going to make you successful. The other people who are telling you that they have to pray for you, declare for you 3 days, 4 days fasting, I can tell you, if it's business, it's finances, if it's this, if it's about success on this earth, majority of those things don't count. If they did count, then the people who are controlling mega businesses around the globe should be practicing like that. The Africans who we just have small businesses, we are the ones that the devil is chasing. It's amazing. And the ones who are doing big things, nobody is chasing them. Because if you're on the side of principles and wisdom and knowledge and understanding, that is eternal. That is indestructible. When you are building with knowledge, when you are building with understanding, when you are building with structure and systems, when you have the right understanding. And these things make you courageous. If you stay with that part, they make you courageous. You start to build. You start to believe that, before I didn't know this, now I know it. All the decisions that you made that didn't work, most of them didn't work because you didn't know what you were doing. It's not demon. It's not Satan. Satan is far busy. He's looking for something, not your business. But they have told us. So you watch TV, you go anywhere, you see people, market women especially. They are praying, they are talking to God. God should help them, their business. And this woman does not understand what she's doing. She has no data. She has no employee, no bookkeeping, nothing. And yet she believes that the devil is responsible why her business is dying. And yet the woman should have taken time to understand, at least, even if she could not read. If she started with the business, knowing that, listen, this business is just like any other process in life. Goes through stages. There are things that I must know. The same woman, when she's pregnant, if she takes the seed today, she's not going for prayers to deliver today. She knows by the the normal knowledge that is available to them. She knows that at least that seed in a womb will take 9 months. At least she knows it. So she's not going for prayer for that seed to be the next day that the baby drops. But the same person starts a business. The next day she wants to succeed and she's going for prayer. And they're asking you for money everywhere. That's what they do. Asking for money, bring tithe. If you don't bring tithe, you will fail your business. If you don't bring offering, you fail. If you don't take this and give it to this man, you will not succeed. There are so many things. If you don't come for this fasting, you will not succeed. Those are all not true. Those are all not true. They're not true. If you want to do those things because it's your faith, do them. But those will not be responsible for your success. Then everybody who has been successful hugely in business should be that. Why is it that those of us in Africa with small kiosks, we are the ones somebody else is chasing. It's amazing. It's because of the relevance, the reality of knowledge that these people, because some people went before us and they have taught us, they conditioned us, and they gave us a certain way to think and to look at issues. And almost all of us look at life that way. So we meet any challenge, our first position is that no, I have to go and do this. I have to go. And usually, almost all of them are outside our control. Very few people will say that, okay, I'm failing in this business. It's because maybe I don't know much. Maybe I don't know much. Maybe I miss it. Maybe I didn't learn the principles well. Maybe I didn't learn the structure well. Maybe I compromised so much. Very few. Very few. Because there was a time that we had trouble somewhere and people were calling us, let's go to here and pray. Let's go here and pray. I'm like, but what have I done? It's just that I started the business in the wrong area with wrong people, with wrong ideas, without any understanding. That's why we got to this situation. Now that I know a little, I think that this thing can be backtracked. It can be re-engineered. It can be brought back on the right path if I do it and I'm more patient. If I stop the wrong things that I was doing and do it well, this business will come back to life. So so they will come and tell you, they will push you, and it will be difficult if you're not strong, if you're not principled, if you're not building yourself with a lot of these things. You will compromise and follow them. And the time that you're following them, those are the times that you could put in the business to build it. The money that you're giving to them, those are the money that you can put in the business for it to work. Now, the same people who are telling you that the Satan is against you, that's why your business is not working. The same people are taking the very key things that you need to build that business, the time and the money to grow the business. They are taking this. So Monday morning, they are going for prayer and fast and attachment for us. Tuesday morning, they are doing the same thing. You don't build a business by prayer. You build a business by investing your time and your money and understanding the business. You think that the people who are going to war, those who went to Iraq to war, you think they were fighting the war by prayer? They went to the battlefield to fight. They learned how to shoot. They learned how to understand the enemy. They had data. They improved their technology. They acted with precision. That's why they won the war. Now you want to win a war in your room by prayer because that's what it was. And because most of these people who have taught us these things have no clue what business is. They've not done it. And even if they have anything to show that they are doing business, it's because after they had money somewhere, that's what, after they had money somewhere. You are starting with nothing. Nobody knows you. Your part is seriously different. And that's what entrepreneurship is about. It thrives on innovation, on creativity, on resilience, on strength, on constant learning, on character building. That's what business is about. That's what entrepreneurship really is about. It's not driven by cheating and lying. It's not driven by superstition. If you can get to that stage, you'll see that a lot of stress will drop off you and you focus on this business and become successful. And if you want anybody to know that you're a Christian, it's not by the prayer that you're praying for the business. It's by the prayer that you're praying for others. The love that you show, the sympathy, the kindness, how you treat the people you do business with. Those are the things that show that you're a Christian, not the so-called prayer that you are praying to kill something. And I think that these things are true because we have gone through it. These things are true. We have had businesses that, because the design was well, we understood it well, we got some decisions rightly, we did far more better. We had the other ones that the things were compromised and we struggled a lot. The foundations were weak. It took us years to set the things rightly, to gather the right kind of information, the right kind of understanding to build it. So we have gone through another one, because you after a while you can compare that this business I started with all this, I understood it. It went well because I was mature. I could make right decisions. I could handle the finances well. I could do this. The other ones that I started that I didn't understand a lot of things and compromise a lot of things, those things struggled because those are principles. And they are eternal principles. They are like any law in nature. If you fall on the right side of the law, you see growth, you see expansion. Stress is little. You see that you're constantly growing in understanding, in knowledge, in what you're doing. You understand the technicalities. If something is not working, you're not looking for anybody to blame. You're looking at, okay, what didn't work? You start to look at what data can I gather? Where is the pattern? If there is a sales drop in this particular month, where is the pattern? Did you see it? Can you compare it with the last 3, 4, 5 years data? Do you have it? Do you record the sales? Have you stored it? Do you know it? 2010, July, what was the sales? Was it good? Was it bad? What did you do to increase that sales? These are data that you have to compare. And yet there's so much that you can learn in business, and people are looking for magic. People are looking for connection. So the time that you are wasting following that minister for that business deal, that is compromise a lot of things, cheating the country to give it to you, I rather will use it to go and learn the industry. Learn it. You can do far more better if you have 100,000 Ghana cedis and you have the right skills. 20 years time, your business will grow far more than the guy that they stole 10 million for this year. 20 years time, the guy with 10 million will have more trouble than the guy with 100,000 who knew what to do and who stayed with his values, with his character, with the principles, and who stayed with the process. That's how you build something. That's how you build something. So if you're an entrepreneur, that's what you have to do. And just like life, that's what you have to do. It is tough. It is difficult. It's a crazy situation in our country. But you have got to make that decision to say that this is what I want to stay with. And you have a lot of offers, but they don't mean anything. Don't you hear all these businesses going down? Most of the businesses that are going down, it's not because of the problems, because businesses go through problems. It's not so much the problems. It's so much the substance of the people who led these businesses. The truth that they stood for. The honesty that they stood for. Those are the things that hurt the businesses. It's not every business goes through challenges. It's not the challenges that is the problem, or that are the problem. It is the quality of the people that handle or that are there when the challenges show up. Most of these will collapse because of the mismanagement. The procedures were not taught, so they didn't follow. And they were praying. They pray every morning, they pray in the evening, and yet the laws that they have said that we should follow, we will not follow. But we are praying. It doesn't matter the prayer that you're praying. If you compromise the principles, they will go against you. If you compromise the principles, they will go against you. Forget. If you see flood coming, you say that you are praying, so you join the water, you will die. Jesus himself didn't do that. He believed so much in principles that he said that who will not sit down and plan if he's going to build a house? Don't just jump to build a house, you plan. So business is like that. There are things that you must know. And it took us years for us to find out the things that we didn't know, the things that we knew. Have you had everything? No, nowhere close. But at least we know little things that can help somebody who has started. Somebody who is in a situation that he's blaming himself. How did I get here? Why did I put myself in this trouble? It's not a trouble. If you start to understand what you're doing and you start to apply the right principles, the troubles may not go today, but you engineer yourself out of it. You'll get out of it because you start to practice well. Most of the troubles that we meet is because there were things that we didn't do right. That's why we meet a lot of challenges. And a lot of the challenges that stay for long, that eventually kill businesses, are the challenges that they are there, but we continue to do the very things that created the challenges, because we little understanding is there. And people are building businesses now, knowing, not because they are Christian, not because they are religious, but they know that if they are going to build these businesses with cheating and lying and bribery and all those things and treating people badly and all those things that are not good, they know, they are not religious, but they know that if they continue to do these things, whatever they are building has no future. They know it. They know. And that's why they don't, they are not applying. If they meet difficulty, if you come to tell them that I dream about you and I saw this thing about you and this is, they don't believe in those things. Forget it. They want to stay, and like in our country, almost everybody has a dream for you. Almost everybody will have some kind of dream for you. They will say that they saw or God told them something, and I'm like, yes, but if God told you, He also can tell me. I am more committed to reading the ways that the man left, the principles that he left, the wisdom that he left. Because all these guys building a lot of things. These are the principles, timeless principles. They are building them. That's why they say that don't build a business with superstition. Don't. It's not. If you're going to be superstitious, be it for the good of others, but not you. On your business, stay with the facts. If it's not working, look for it. And if you think that any superstition should help you, it should build you up to say that once I'm in it, it will work. That's the thing. You don't let anybody use anything to control you and create fear and panic. Said that you become so much, you don't become confident because you are always looking up to what might happen, which will not be good. Because you didn't do what? They don't apply. You don't apply. Building business has nothing to do with religious beliefs, or has everything to do with principles. Just as you went to school to learn engineering, whether you're a Muslim or you're a Christian or you didn't believe in anything, they told you the principles. If you learn them, you wrote the exam, you pass. It's like that. If anybody is building a car or an engine, if they know the right principles, they will put the engines together. It will work. It doesn't matter whether they are Christian or a Muslim or something. It doesn't matter. The principles, if you know them and you apply them, they will work. Same is with business. So I don't understand why when it comes to business and finances, people are trying to make it magical. People are trying to make it so much complex. And yet there are practical things that people have studied and they do. That's why they are rich. Countries which are poor are waiting for superstition to get out of poverty. That's why they continue to be poor. They are waiting for superstition to get the poverty. No. There are things that people have studied to build a country out of poverty, and it is not prayer. If you see gold in the soil, you will not bring that gold out by your dream and your prophecy. No, you will use technology to bring that gold out. You're going to prophesy, nobody cares about your prophecy. The guy with the technology will come and take it out. Okay, so a lot of things are just like that. And business is no different from it. And there are a lot of factors, a lot of components that you have to understand. But you have to know that if your business is struggling, probably, it's because of some of these things. The lying, the cheating, the compromising so much. That's why you created the problem. Or the other thing is that you are thinking that some demon somewhere, something somewhere is working against you. That's why your business is struggling. The day you will convince yourself that nothing like that is happening, and it's because of your inefficiencies, ineffectiveness, the things that you don't know, that's why the business is struggling, and you have refused to study and build up your knowledge and understanding. The moment you start to understand that, you will build. Forget about whatever testimony you have heard anywhere. The principle is a principle. It must work for everybody. And these are the principles. You stay with the right part. You stay. For instance, if you are in construction, there are areas that you go to look for work, you know that they will take. And the moment they take, they will not follow through the project. You will also not follow through the project. You are there only for the money. You will not become better. And eventually it will put you in trouble and you will waste a lot of years. There are projects that you can take. Maybe the margins are not good, but you can stay disciplined and make some profit. That money, you can do a lot with it than the fat one that you compromise yourself to get, because they will not stay. No matter what you build, you can go and build a bank with it. You can build all those things with it. Forget, because you create a situation, you create a chain, and it builds the foundation of the companies that you're going to build. So in the future, anybody who comes to work with you is also the same thing. So they are going to cheat, lie, By the time you see it, you have this 100 million, 200 million company, but everybody is a thief. And if they're stealing from the company, what do you think it will happen? To collapse. And when a huge company collapses, it's dangerous. If you have 20,000 and you lose it, it's easier. When the company is 200 million and it collapses, it's a tough situation. It is a tough situation. And usually it happens when they are very old, when they cannot come back to fight. And even if they come back and they want to fight, because they did not go through the processes, they may not know what to do. Because everywhere they got, somebody helped them. They paid, somebody helped them. So the right nutrients, they did not develop them. The right skills, they did not develop them. So now it's a big company which is falling, but they have no clue what to do because they did not go through the processes. And that's a business. So if you're going to spend your life building a company, I will submit that our country needs people who at least try to build companies with some level of character, some level of credibility. And learn it, and don't compare yourself with anybody. The other person who thinks that that is what he wants to do, let them do. But you must convince yourself that this is what I want to do. So I want to go into fact. The fact is that if you really look at the structure of the economy, agriculture should be the number one top area of businesses. But because we're doing businesses only for the money and we are ready to do anything to get the money, the very thing that can help a lot of us to grow into wealth and solve problems of our continent, we don't want them, because majority of the people we call farmers are with hoes and cutlasses. We are not running them as business. Why? Because it's not attractive, because that way nobody pays bribe. And if you depend on prayer for the rain to come, it will fail you. You cannot say that you have gone to farm 100 hectare land and you're dependent on prayer. No, you must have irrigation. You must have the systems there. You cannot depend on prayer for your to harvest 100 hectare or 100,000 hectare land. No, you cannot wait for prayer for you to pay your workers. No. So those are serious. So if the one with a hoe and cutlass is waiting for prayer for a small farm, it's okay. But if you have gone there, you have sunk a lot of money, you cannot depend on prayer. You have to have structures and systems. And no, you are not going to pay anybody. Politicians will not even come and take bribe. Why? Because there's no bribe to be taken there. So you grow your systems well. And so if you are very much truthful to ourselves, agriculture, based on the structure of economy, is one of the huge areas that we should have a lot of business people. Or maybe the other thing maybe will be waste. Look at waste everywhere. If you were so much committed to building and developing entrepreneurs, these are the areas that we'll be focusing on. Because that's where the structure of our business, the structure of the economy really supports. We are not going to start businesses in robotics or space. We are not there. Let's face it. That's not the area. We still have primary business issue, industrial issue. We are yet to go through industrialization, whether we like it or not. What we are doing is not industrialization, because you cannot industrialize. You cannot build your own fundamentals in terms of machines. The tools to create the machines. If you're not building them ourselves, you are not industrialized. So we have to depend on China, you have to depend on India, you have to depend on Europe to bring those things. So we are not there yet. The foundation is not set, because we are all focused on areas that you can give somebody 1,000, he gives you a contract and he makes it 20,000. The contract is 2,000, they make it 20,000, and you make 18,000. When you make the 18,000, you think you're a genius. You're not. Because the margins that you're making, the profit that you're making is unrealistic. It does not reflect your true maturity, the true reflection of your business. It doesn't. So the business was 2,000. If everything was rightly done, maybe you make just 500 on it. And that 500 is what your capacity is. So you are going to do a lot to grow that. Now that you're compromising, and now that you have your prophet told you that somebody will give you a contract which is 20,000, and you know that you changed the documents, that's what they gave you. You have a false sense of maturity, a false sense of skill development. You're not there. So just as usual, businesses will be hit. Then you are hit, and you are thinking that you had that revenue. It was cooked. It was so rare. So your restaurant was 2005, not 20,000. You know, and then you're saying that the devil is against you. It's not the devil, it is you. It has nothing to do with the devil. It is you. So if you're committed to building business, please stay with the process. Stay with it. It is difficult, it is crazy, it is tough, but any industry, if you develop yourself, you'll do it. And you'll do it and you'll succeed. And you'll be happy in the next state because businesses take time to build. Don't be in haste, especially if it's your first business. It is going to take time. It's going to take 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 10 years. Because until you have become it, you cannot see the success. Until you have grown, you can see the growth of the business. If anybody is not growing and you see successes in their business, I can tell you, it is a compromised one. It's a compromised position, and you don't need it. You don't need it because eventually it'll kill, it'll crash. It's just a time bomb. It will kill, it will explode. Because the challenges of businesses are many. There are many. So stay with the process. Commit yourself to say that I want to stay with the process. I want to build my business with character, with systems. Even if you fall, even if you fail, get back. Get back. Continue to convince yourself. And it's a constant learning process. Read, learn. That's why people don't read. You meet a lot of business people, there's no book that they are reading, they are not studying anything, they are not listening to anybody, they are not watching anything. It's because they know their formula is not like that. They don't need to mature, they don't need to grow, they don't need to become better to get results because they can pay. And because somebody can take money and pray for them and say that, and prophet prayed for me. Build your business network, build your team with these two things. Tell them if you work here and you steal, I will sack you. And if you come here and you pray, I don't have problem. But your prayer should reflect your character. If you say that you serve God and you work in this company, we should be able to trust you. You should be able to come to work on time. You should become the best, one of the best of the workers here. Then I can be convinced that you say you're a Christian. Then I can believe that. By praying, yeah, I don't care. I don't care. I want to see it in your character. And so you build a company culture like that, where the people you work with, you let them understand you want to do the right thing. Let's try. Let's do. Every day, let's encourage ourselves. It may be difficult, it may be serious, it may be crazy. The environment does not support it, but let's try. Let's try. Let's build a team. Let's build a culture that can reflect the God that we say we serve. You know? And so we try to do that. It's tough, it's difficult, but you try to do that. You try to do that. You treat people well, you treat your customers well, you treat your team well, you treat them with respect, with dignity, you give them attention, you show interest in what is important to them, and you tell them that here we work with principles. If you want to come and pray here, pray at home. But when you come to work, it's a serious business. We want results. We want serious results. We want results, and so we work here. If you believe in superstitions, once you enter the workplace, let them stay somewhere. We want to work, we want to get the results. You know, we want to get results. So that is what we want to get. And if you build yourself that way and you build your team that way, you will be successful. You'll build that business. No doubt about that. That I know. You'll build that business no matter how many years it takes you. You build that business. You'll build it because those principles don't fade. They are eternal. And you will see that you are doing it without sweat. Without sweat. If you see anybody who's overcome by business stress, go and check. There are things that they are not doing right. Go and check. If you see them burdened and weakened because they're going through a lot of difficulties, it's because they did not build with these things. They built with bribery and cheating. They built with superstition. That's why the difficulties have overcome them. You know, but anybody who did the other way around, and you see them, in spite of wage pressure, they're still going. They're still going. They don't care. They're still going because they know that if they become better, it will explode. And if God does not honor this, what else does God honor? If you don't plant any seed, the rain will not come. It's a principle. If the rain falls, it's only falling on those who planted the seed. The planting is not God. We plant. We plant. We do the planting. You have to get up and go and work and put it in the soil. It's not prayer. So build the business that way. Build the business that way. You will succeed if you do that. And it doesn't matter the years that you think you have delayed without doing this. Because I know if you talk to 100 business people in a country, especially those who are religious, they are locked up in this religion, and compromising and thinking that if they want a project from a government and somebody is asking for 10%, that's how business is done. That's not how business is done. You're killing the country. What makes you think that the country is poor? The country is poor because people are screwing the country. The more we start to be honest, the more we start to be credible, ethical in our activities, think of the country. Think of a country that many people don't have what to eat, where to sleep. They are worried. And the very few people who have access to this wealth are taking their children to big schools. They're buying big houses. And it's not they work for it. That's what is the most painful aspect. They store it. That which is for everybody. They are packing it for themselves. And you think that nature will allow them? That's a lie. That's a lie. So you don't want to be part of those kind of things. Our generation must learn business and must do it rightly. I am a firm believer that it's entrepreneurship that will develop our country. Because we're a free society, which must be driven by innovation and creativity. And that's what entrepreneurship is about. But here, when you talk of an entrepreneur, he's a contractor. There's no innovation, there's no creativity. There's no innovation, there's no creativity. And he's saying that he's an entrepreneur. There's no financial understanding. He cannot manage anything. He can see far. So where are the things that will make this man an entrepreneur? It's only when some minister called him to give him a project. He's a businessman. So he made some profit. He started an insurance company. He made some profit. He started a bank. He made some profit. He started a TV station. He made some profit. He started this. And he said that he's a big businessman. But the foundation is weak. The foundation is weak. Now there's a change in government. Something strikes and everything is gone. Because that's not how you build it. You build a business with credibility. With credibility, and with honesty. And if if you are religious, if you're a Christian, the values that we have to see, the values that God represents: truth, honesty, love, kindness. Those are the things. Faith, confidence, knowledge, understanding. Those things. When anybody gets close to you, those are the things that they must see. Not the witchcraft, not the superstition, not I saw this, not the prophecy kind of thing. Don't get stuck in that. Don't get stored in that. They will delay you. Your business needs time, and your business needs the finances. And don't just be taking the money from the business and be giving it to people, thinking that out of that God is going to bless you. You are digging a hole for yourself. When your business is in debt and in difficulty, all those people that you gave money to, none of them will show up to help you. None of them will show up to give you money. I can tell you that. So a business is built with discipline, and it's a gradual process. You have got to commit yourself to learning, to structure, to systems. You must understand the economy. You must understand your strength. You must understand who can come in to help. And it's a gradual process, and it takes a lot of discipline to build it. It's not bribery and cheating, and it's not because somebody has poured some oil on you, you have a successful business. Those things, I can tell you, they're not true. They just waste your time. They will create a facade as if it's true. But after 20 years, 30 years of these people pouring oil on all these people, how many successful businesses have we produced because somebody poured oil on you? Because it's not true. You build a business with discipline, with credibility. And you have got to have courage and commitment to the vision that you're building. And these things don't easily come to us as Africans. It did not come to me readily. like that. I didn't start with it. After a while, it dawned on me that no, there are principles that are required for you to build a business. And if this is what you're going to do with your life, that you must stay with it rightly. So stay out of that. There will be so many times that you'll be tempted. There will be so many times that you would want to compromise. There will be so, especially when you are in difficulty. Eh? When you're in difficulty, these two things look the solution, I tell you. When you're in difficulty and you don't know what to do, the cheating, the lying will be the obvious way out. And following some prophet and getting some oil on your head will be the obvious way out. But that is just a test. Stay with the principles. Stay with it. It doesn't matter how many years it takes. If you become better as a person, you will go through that process. And whatever business that you build, it will stay. It will stay. At least in your lifetime, you have a business that will be strong. And you'll be proud of it. And you can only thank God for that. You will know that no man help you but God. If you're so religious, I know most all of us are religious anyway. So you want to give glory to God. If you paid bribe, you can't give glory to God. That's a fact. So forget the politician will take his glory, or the civil servant will take his glory, not God. So it is a tough situation. So think through, build it. But when you are hit, stay. When you are in a difficult moment, when your obvious answer is for you to do this, stay. Remind yourself that I am learning. I'm going through this. I am learning. And the first time that you start to learn is when you refuse to be controlled by these two: the superstition and the cheating, the lying. The superstition. The superstition, they look like religious, they look like Christian, they are not. If somebody go to church and somebody says, "Oh, yeah, the gentleman in white, come, God told me that your business is a lie." Okay, God must give you the principle. Don't believe it. I'm telling you. Focus on building with principles. Focus. If anybody calls you to say that God told them, they should tell you, are you honest? They should tell you, are you kind? Are you studying the business? Are you credible? Those. Because God does not bless anything that is not organized. That's the fact that they didn't tell us. He does not bless anything that is not structured, that's not principled. The first sign of readiness for growth is stability, is character, is organization, is excellence. When there's efficiency, there's growth. When there is effectiveness, there's growth. That's how. When you get organized, then you're ready for expansion. So all these things, the superstition, the cheating, and the lying, they get you disorganized. So how can God bless you? It's a principle. Somebody else will tell you God, it's not true. Go and look at the data. How many business people have you produced from Africa who have come out of these things? Let's go. Me, I don't know. But where I sit, I see that these things, they just kill your dream. They kill your passion. They kill your destiny. They take the money. And they take your time. The only people who can build anything out of this is the one who is taking the money. The one who is taking the offering. You who are giving the offering, hoping that you'll be able to build your business out of that, that's a lie. That I can tell you is a lie. It doesn't work like that. It is built out of diligence. So go and study all the people who have built businesses all over the world, not only in Africa. They didn't build them. A lot of these entrepreneurs are principled. They are very principled. They stand for the best of character, and they are kind. You can see their faith. You can see their hope. You can see their hope in humanity. You can see their love. You can see their genuineness. These guys who have built all these big things, go and look for them and see. A lot of them are like that. Not all, but majority of them are like that. They are poor, cheating, and lying. Most of them. And they don't hold their future on another man's word. No. They build it out of their capacity, out of their capability. If you're a young man and you're listening, convince yourself. Look at the way you use your time. You can use your time to go and play football and watch football, and Sunday go to church and say, I'm building a business. You're lying to yourself. That's not how you build a business. You separate yourself from the noise and you focus on this business that you built. And you don't run away and cry when there are difficulties. Be a man. Be a man. There's no food. Get water to drink. Continue to build a business. They have come for your house and your car. Don't worry. Get back. Go and learn it again. They ran away with your money. They are chasing you because you took the loan and you can't pay. The other partners said that you won't work again. These are all common business problems and difficulties. It's not unique with you. So don't let anybody take advantage of you because of those. And with time, you will see that if you stay, you become better. You start to grow. Wisdom, understanding. You start to see prosperity. So thank you very much for watching.